you can control even in that state, right? Like he was saying, he went through depressed, but then he realized, hey, one, I can control this, right? When I focus on the future and I focus on my routine and I focus on consistency, like working out, reading, thinking about his future. And the second thing is, um, you know, a guy's either going to become institutionalized in a prison, or he's going to say like, hey, I've got nothing but time. I'm going to take a long look at my life and see all these decisions that I made that got me here, right? And the guy will come to a realization, or this is something that Wes would talk about. Like, I was trying to take the shortcut. I was, selling drugs that hurt people. Um, I was not in control of my temper. I was putting out bad karma, which in return would always come back to me because of the karmic debt, right? So these patterns that they're running through is what ended them up in there, right? And that ended them in this terrible mood to where they were able to use that to change their condition. So if you're going through it right now, think about what it is, both the internal and the external, that's getting you here. Probably you don't like your life very much. In almost every case, I feel like when I was depressed, or when other people are choosing to be in the state of depressed, it's because you don't like your condition, right? And you might have no money, or you might have a lot of money. You might be making seven figures, but you hate your business, or you hate your job, or you hate your spouse. And oftentimes when you're dealing with depressed and you're slipping in and out of that state multiple times a day, part of that's internal, but part of that's you just don't like what you're doing with your life. And that's a warning sign. Like pain is a warning sign to say, hey, I need to make a change. I need to change my condition. And the way you do that is you go on the offensive, right? You start putting the action plan together. You use the pain to motivate you, even when you don't want to do it. And you just sort of observe, like, I'm in pain, but now I'm moving towards something, and I've got a vision and I've got goals. Okay, now you need to be careful about future planning in depression. I don't like to future plan too much in depression, but I can at least, you can at least see like, okay, I'm going to be able to change my condition by not doing these things anymore, right? And I'm not going to accept depression or depressed as a state. Okay, I can't afford to, physically, mentally, and literally, right? Because I need to make money. And just saying like, I can just observe, I can change focus, and I'm going to focus on my future and where I'm going and changing this condition. And the more you do that, it's just like any skill. It's actually state control is the most important skill. It's what should be actually taught in school. Like half of your schooling should be state control, but we learn bullshit that doesn't matter, like advanced physics, unless you're actually going into that discipline. So that's what you have to do, and the better you get at it, it's like something might, in the past have an event will happen and you'll have chosen to be depressed for 2 months. Okay. But the better you get and the more you practice state control, it'll be like, now that's down to 2 weeks, and then it's down to 2 days, and then it's down to 2 hours, and then it's down to 2 minutes. And you're just sitting there like, I don't want to be depressed. I'm going to just I'm changing my focus and thinking like, hey, it's a nice day outside, right? There's people in jail. There's people in war zones. There's people being tortured right now. There's people being waterboarded right now. There's people with cancer. There's people with AIDS. There's elderly people losing their mind, right? Chances are, God willing, you don't have any of those things. And, it's waking up and saying, wait a second, I've got a lot of control over my reality. Let's change the external conditions. Let's focus on changing the external condition, using this pain as a warning sign. But also, let's reframe this and focus change. Like, let's focus on, where am I going with this? Okay, here's the way out of this. I'm going to get in, better shape. I'm going to focus more on the mission. I'm going to find a better mission. You're going to move towards having a better relationship with your girl or your wife, or, getting out there and getting women in your life. I had a client of mine who went from depressed to best week of his life just by us getting him on Tinder and getting him, a lady friend. Okay, a lot of the time that's what you need, and that's a massive solution. And it's not about the sex per se; it's about the affection. Is probably more important. So just recognize it. Like, you can't afford to be depressed, and don't let it be an option. Just don't let it be on the table. Same thing as I say, don't let average be an option, man. Like, don't let an average life or mediocrity be an option. Take that option off the fucking table. Take depressed off the table too. Just be like, no more, right? Not gonna suffer like that anymore. I have control over this thing, and I'm gonna attack this head on. I'm gonna observe it. I'm not gonna hide from it, and I'm gonna get total control over it. And believe me, like, the amount of change you can make will blow your mind. Like, I'm 37 now. You wouldn't have liked me at 20. Okay, no one would have been listening to me. No one would have been buying into this brand. All right, I was extremely negative. Okay, but the amount of change you can make is massive. So just don't let it be an option. Recognize you can't afford to be depressed spiritually, mentally, physically, emotionally, and literally. Like, you can't afford it. You got to go out and make money. Okay. And money will either solve or greatly reduce every problem that you had, okay? Like, assuming you have a lot of money, you know, your house, your car can be paid off. You don't have to work, right? A lot of people are depressed because of their job or the school that they like, right? Like, so recognize that is a major way out, is getting yourself money, because money means freedom, and freedom means not having to do what you hate. And when you don't have to do what you hate, it is so much fucking easier to be happy. Okay. So you know, don't allow yourself to get depressed, because you can't afford it. You can't afford to buy your freedom when you're depressed. Okay. And you can't afford to buy your ideal lifestyle, your ideal day, when you're depressed. All right. So don't let that be a reality for you. And if you want more information, check out revolutionarylifestyledesign.com/mind. That's got all my articles on mood and all that good stuff. I'm going to have a course coming out on this later this year. Check me out. You know, if you want help with this stuff, I don't accept people who are clinically depressed. If you're a little bit low mood, revolutionarylifestyledesign.com/coaching. But make sure that you've gotten yourself up to at least neutral before you come on board, because it's so much easier for me to deal with someone who's neutral, and, you know, at the same time, I don't have a license for any of these things, right? So some people, like, if you're deeply depressed, you know, a psychologist, whatever it is that you need, okay, having that trained person to talk to, I'm for, okay? But if you're sort of like a bit low and you're able to get yourself up neutral, maybe I can help. But, you know, just recognize what I'm saying. If you want more information, revolutionarylifestyledesign.com/mind. There's a ton of articles there.